Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Say What podcast. My name is Hannah, and I am joined by my lovely, wonderful, amazing, super stunning, so wise, just so
keep it going. There
such
we go.
a leader.
Let's go.
You know,
Yep,
my
what else?
husband.
Oh, okay.
That's all I got. Thomas, welcome back to the Say What podcast.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
I'm so happy that you're here, and happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Today, actually, when we're recording this, is our 5-year anniversary.
5 years.
I feel so old that we've been
Yep.
married for 5 years. Like, we can do a hand. Like, that's 5.
A whole hand.
A whole
Next
hand.
year, it'll take two
hands. Yeah.
Yep.
That's really crazy. I don't really know how we got here. I mean, I know how we got here. I just like...
Time kept going.
Yep. 2 states, lots of houses,
Yeah.
1 broken leg. Speaking of broken leg, I feel like we have to like address the elephant in the room.
Oh, my chair?
Yes.
Yeah, if you're watching on video, there's a huge difference between the chair qualities of the two of us.
You know, because it's my podcast, I get to sit in the comfy chair.
I also have to hold my microphone. So
This is real family business
whoever
vibes, remember?
whoever gets your gear for your podcast, you need to tell them this is unacceptable.
Yeah, it is unacceptable. I'm just kidding. I'm so thankful. Oh my gosh. Anytime people ask me anything about podcasts, I'm like, well, my husband does it all. But the elephant in the room that we need to address, it's like really important, is that you're sitting in my shower chair.
Yep.
Let's talk about the chair. Let's
The chair's
talk
good.
about the chair. How many fights did we have in this chair?
Well, this is the first time I've sat in the chair. So it's how many fights did we have while you were in the chair?
Okay, well, how many fights did we have while I was in the chair?
Like 3?
Probably more. Probably more.
By fights, you just mean me asking you to turn the water temperature down.
Yeah, because no one likes to be in the shower cold. And I
No
told
way.
you, it changes from when it's like coming up and coming down. It changes. It gets colder. So when I'm sitting, I'm colder versus when you're standing. I have tested the theory.
Okay.
So Thomas is sitting in the chair.
But here's the thing. Either way, like...
You interrupted me.
You had me hold the water on you.
I did. I
So
did. Because
I'm
my leg
still
was broken.
standing there.
Because I broke 3 bones.
Cold.
Yeah. Well, so Thomas is sitting in the chair that I used in the shower when we had to shower together every time I took a shower because I couldn't stand for 3 months. And Thomas had to like hold the shower head over me to like help me take a shower. And we just could never get on the same page about the temperature. I will be honest, you did stand in the back freezing cold because you didn't have any water on you. And instead of harping on you right now, I should be thanking you for serving me during
That's
that
right.
time.
That's right.
Stop. Canceled. We're going to get canceled.
Happy to help.
Thank you. Yeah, you're the best. It's so much more fun podcasting with somebody than doing it by myself.
Yeah.
It's a fun
I guess.
time.
I don't know.
Anything that you want to... wait, back up. So that's why he's sitting significantly shorter than I guess I could get
Yes.
lower. Should I get lower?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Yep. I don't have
Producer
an office
Thomas
chair
says
here
that.
anymore. So this is what I got.
No, we got real home business,
Yep.
home family vibes. And, you know, soon I think maybe we might change the background of this. I feel like we need
Potentially new backdrop. We've got some ideas to,
Yeah.
There's literally a bed right here that takes up
Yeah.
so much space that hardly ever gets used. So we're going to have to like flip
We
it
need
up
one of those
and-
like wall beds. Like you put it in the wall. And
Murphy
then
bed.
There's a name for it.
Yep.
Murphy was real smart with his bed.
Yeah, Murphy.
Thanks. Shout out to Murphy.
Yeah.
Sponsor this podcast.
Please.
Oh, speaking of that, I did want to address that there are ads on this podcast now, and they are just automatic ads from Spotify. I went back and forth about this for a while, but ultimately, I really want this to be my full-time job. I want to do this all the time for the rest of my life and not have to worry about other kinds of work that I do. And so to do that, I have to make some money, which is really awkward to talk about money, but I'll be super honest with you guys that any kind of like ad that I am doing where I'm sitting here like sharing with you the product, that is something I have used, I endorse, I believe in wholeheartedly, love it. The other ads are just like from Spotify and they're going to choose what best fits you. I had a Whole Foods ad on mine this week.
I think when I listened to see how it would sound, it was a Lexus ad.
I don't know what that says about us because we're definitely not driving a Lexus or anywhere close to driving a Lexus, but love that it thinks that that's the kind of people that we are.
Yeah, Whole Foods and a Lexus.
Yeah, we're putting off really good vibes.
Yeah, we're more like Food Lion and a Honda.
Yeah, truly.
Yep.
But thank you guys for the support and for just being okay with the ads. Speaking of that, we're going to put one in right here. Here we go. Okay, hope you enjoyed that ad and skip
All
through.
right, I'm going to have to make a note or something to make sure there's an ad right there.
Yep. Okay. Anything that you want to share with the people? It's been a long time since you've been on the podcast. So anything that you like have like heavy on your heart that you're like, I need to tell everybody this.
Yes.
Didn't know that.
The only thing that I have is that Max Verstappen is going to win his 4th world championship this year. The Formula One season is back.
Yes.
We have watched the first 2 races. We're doing Fantasy League with
Yes.
our friends Caroline and Corbin.
Yes.
We haven't seen the update.
Oh no.
Let's see.
Let's see if I'm in.
So-
I think I was in the lead, and guess what, guys? My team is Team Barbie. So really fun
But
because
then-
girls run the world. So
Then I took over the lead. Let's see if I'm still in the lead today. How do I see this? So this is the big thing now for us.
we're into Formula One.
Yep.
We are
We may
Red Bull
edit some
fans.
of
There
this
is
to get a
some
little
Red Bull
bit
drama that we have
closer.
been very
Uh-oh.
conflicted.
Uh-oh.
Corbin's in the lead.
Corbin is in the lead.
Corbin's in the lead.
He jumped to both of us.
I don't know why I yelled.
I went to 3rd.
I think I yelled because he's downstairs, but I can't believe Corbin's in the lead. And I'm 2nd. Go Team Barbie.
Yeah.
Go Team Barbie.
We dropped Ferrari. That wasn't smart.
No.
Okay.
Anyways.
I don't know if that was any. That may not even make
No,
it.
that's gonna make it. You know, that's what we're doing these days. Is
That's the
Formula
thing that
One.
I'm excited
Nobody else
about.
likes Formula One. I need you guys to like it so we can talk
North
about
Carolina is being fantastic for us and
Yeah.
our family. Tate is getting bigger, and that's awesome to get to go do things with him and play with him. And soon we're going to have conversations with him. He's like,
Yeah.
we're eating the same foods, which
crazy.
means I have the diet of a 15-month-old
Right.
now, which is awesome.
it. Yeah, he's 14 months old.
14-month-old.
It's fine.
It's somewhere in the middle. It's in the middle. It's
okay.
in the middle. So yeah, I don't know. I'm loving it.
Cool. Nothing else you want to share?
I think I'm good.
Well, like we said, today is our anniversary. We are 5 years married. And so we thought we would record an episode talking about 5 things that we have learned in 5 years. 5 things that we have learned in 5 years.
Yes, let's do it.
Very excited. I wrote down my list and then just didn't really think much about it afterwards. And I was like, we'll see if this stays, if I think it's still good. And I do. And I will say, I feel like this is the same stuff I've shared for years in talking about marriage. It's just consistent. It's kind of all not the same stuff, but I feel like it's just consistently stays true. So
I agree. I read what you wrote before I wrote mine. It was like, well, now I got to come up with 5.
no, I think
more
yours are better.
things.
I think yours are better. I think we should start with you. I think we'll go one off.
Every other?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go first. So the first one I have, which is hard to put into practice, but it is something that I have learned. So my first thing is, if it's a matter of preference, then it doesn't matter. I feel like just from observationally from other relationships and our relationship, a lot of the arguments or fights that we have gotten in have really just been from I would prefer something to be done one way and you would prefer it to be done another way.
So we try to compromise.
What?
Yeah, we try to compromise our preferences.
Yes, but I think what I'm saying and what I've learned is, if you find yourself in one of these situations, if you can recognize it, just
give an example.
Just be
to the people.
okay
I don't want
with
it to sound like you're never getting your preference and I'm just taking over all the time. We compromise.
I think an example of this would be how we do the grocery lists. You have been very awesome in trying,
so
and
true.
right now
Too true, bestie.
doing the thing that I like to do for the grocery lists. But there was a season where you were the one handling all of that, making the list, doing the orders because I didn't have time to. And you were doing it in a way that I don't even understand. Zero organization.
You have OCD. Okay?
Zero thoughts for how grocery stores are laid out.
I'm not shaming you for your OCD, by the way.
It's just not how I would do it. But it's you're the one making sure it gets done. You're the one making the list. You're the one making the order. So my preference isn't helping in this situation. It's merely a preference. So I just need to put that to the side because you're getting something done.
Something
so it doesn't really
so
matter.
fun about Thomas is that he loves organizational apps and went a little crazy trying to find the perfect organizational
one.
app for our
The
life. And I don't know
one.
that you found it, but we basically swapped from the Notes app, from Todoist, from Notion. Didn't we use Notion
We
at one
didn't
point?
use Notion. No, TickTick.
TickTick.
Which is still one of my favorite apps ever.
The reminders app, and I just couldn't keep up with all these apps. And I just want to go to my notes app on my phone and just like make a list. Something about me that you guys may not know about me is that my phone is so chaotic. Like this phone is the most chaotic thing you'll ever see.
Here's another preference thing. I've tried for so long to get her to do something about this, and she won't. And I've had to decide.
There's nothing there's nothing organized about my phone. Like the apps are just all over the place. I have no folders. There's like some apps that are not like downloaded, but still there on my phone. I couldn't tell you where any app is besides like the home screen.
I can't even listen to this.
Like I just search for whatever app I'm looking for. Like I scroll down and search it because I don't have time to like scroll, you know.
So see, if that's what you're going to do, you should just remove them from your home screen. You can still have the app on your phone without it being visible.
I just don't care.
So
like,
if you're not going to go find
my phone.
Just make it not visible so that it looks more presentable.
But I don't care. I just don't care.
And here's the thing where at the end of the day, that's my preference, but I'm not going to make her do something with her phone because it's just not going to work. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. That's a good word. Okay. Mine are also, I should say, in no particular order. My first one is going to be my husband is not a mind reader. I have learned in our 5 years of marriage that being clear about expectations is key. I used to think like if I shared with him that I want something for like my birthday or Valentine's Day, like if I don't share that and I just expect him to do it and then he doesn't do it, I'm super disappointed. But if I share with him, hey, I'd really like this for my birthday, he gets it for me, it doesn't make it any less special. I'm like, okay, he still did that thing for me and got that for me and I'm really excited. And usually he throws something else in there that like he picked out or that he wants. And so it makes it still feel super special. And so I used to think like, you know, where's the intentionality if I'm telling him everything? But I'm not telling him everything because over time, like I don't have to tell you every single thing that I expect, you know. But I have just found that like being clear about expectations for things just saves so much like disappointment. And I'll give like another example. So for Mother's Day, I just straight up told Thomas like, I want a card from Tate. I don't know if you would have gotten a card from Tate. I don't know if you would have made one that like he wrote, but that would mean a lot to me. And I went back and forth about sharing that with him. Like, should I tell him that I want it? Should I just like, he's probably going to do it, so I just shouldn't. But I just thought like if I get to Mother's Day and he does not give me a card from him, then I'm just going to feel like sad and it's not going to feel fun. And so I just shared that with him and he had already gotten a card for me. And so it was like a fun thing that he was able to say like, okay, I did do this, but it was still like good for me not to be let down. So that's just something that I feel like has really saved a lot of things.
Yeah. I think, you know, something that people don't take into consideration a lot of the time is like, every single person ever has so many things that they're thinking about.
Right.
And it doesn't mean that if you're something that's specific to you isn't in one of those slots that they don't care about you or something about you.
Right.
We have a lot of stuff going on right now that I'm trying to make sure like keeps happening and things are going forward and all these things are taken care of. So if there's something specific that you want me to have in this list of things to take care of, just telling me is so much easier. I mean, we try to do this with everything. We had to do this. It's funny that it's about gifts. We don't only talk about this with gifts, but we had to talk about this with how we do Christmas gifts. She used to wanted me to come up and think of the things for her, but then there was this expectation. And my thing is like, I make a list of things that I want. So like, I want the things that I asked for, or, you know, at least
I wasn't getting him the things he asked
something
for.
that I didn't ask for. And that's also risky. Like she's an incredible gift giver, and has gotten things that I didn't necessarily ask for, but have said that I wanted. She's really good at like picking up on those things. But that was another thing I needed to communicate of like, hey, I'm asking for these things and my expectation is that they can happen.
He wanted a camera for our garage. I didn't get him a camera for our garage because why do we need a camera in our garage?
And what I loved about this was after we moved, I put a camera in the garage. And I opened it one day just randomly at church after she's left. And guess who left the garage open?
We don't have to share that part of the story.
And if we would have had this camera that I asked for from my phone, I could have went, close the garage. But no.
I just didn't think that was a fun Christmas gift. But I learned my lesson that he communicated that and I should have listened.
Fun is relative.
Okay. All right, your turn.
So the second thing that I have learned in the past 5 years is marriage can't be passive.
I thought this was so good.
We've talked about this a lot, and it's another thing that we have to refigure out now. Before Tate was born, it was a lot easier to have time for ourselves, and Tate is incredible. But we're kind of in this season now where it feels like it takes a lot of energy for us to stay connected and do all the things, and
I'll just be honest,
be great parents. So,
and I think that it does take a lot of energy, but I also want to add to do the extra stuff, because I feel like throughout the day, we're very lovey to each other. We kiss throughout the day. We hug. We it's going to sound cheesy. We do dance a lot in our home. We dance, and we have a lot of joy together and in our home. And we text all throughout the day. If we're not together, we really are, connected. But I feel like to actually take our relationship further and deeper and more meaningful.
The checking in with each other.
Yeah.
The things that add energy. We do a lot of the things continually very well that I would say is expensing energy to do those things.
Yeah.
But if you're not taking time to then replenish that by spending time together, laughing together, going out. And I know that that's not always easy. If you're listening to this with kids, you're probably like, man, I wish I could do that. We feel the same way. It's been harder to find those times because that's just a reality.
But we're going out tonight.
Having kids, yes, but we are going out tonight.
I'm very excited.
That's just one of the things I've learned is that I would encourage couples, married couples or dating couples, have those times where it's hey, we're going to go out or have time to check in with each other this often. And I will say this too, that those times need to be there need to be times when it's just you guys spending time with each other and checking in and having fun. Mm-hmm. But then you also need separate times to check in on how things are going with your home and family.
Yeah.
Let date nights be fun. Go do something. You don't have to sit down and talk about your finances or chores over dinner. Go have your fun times and then your serious check-in times. If you can make them separate, I think that would be really good. We try to do that. We try to have family meeting times separate from date nights.
I feel like something we could improve with this is setting it in the calendar. Every Monday we're going to talk about this, or have weekly set times to do it. We don't really do it weekly. We don't have a set time, but I do think if we had a set time, that would help. And I know that a lot of couples that I think are very wise have talked about that, have set times, and we just hadn't gotten there. And I really think it's because we're just now. I mean, we've been married for 5 years, so maybe we should have done this before kids, but post-kid, it's we just now are getting our feet, back up on our feet and can actually do things and be humans again.
Yeah,
with Tate
I agree.
Kind of getting easier. My next one is believe your spouse has the best intentions. I have found that this helps so much in our relationship when I believe that you have the best intentions and weren't ever trying to do anything malicious or hurtful on purpose or careless. If I just think okay, this was... he probably didn't mean it by this way. Just because he didn't mean it by this way doesn't mean I shouldn't be hurt, and I can still be hurt, but I should believe that he wasn't trying to be, malicious or whatever. Because I feel we make so many stories up in our head about why someone did something or the reality of how someone feels, and we don't really know until we talk to them. And so if I believe that my spouse has the best intention, that can just save a lot of rage being built up, anger being built up about something that we don't even really know until we talk about it. And so just believing that you didn't mean to do what you did, or you didn't mean it to be the certain way that it came across or whatever. And that's not dismissing my feelings about stuff or whatever, but it really, really helps out to believe the best in each other.
Yeah. I mean, I think it goes back to everybody has a lot of things going on. So just because something didn't go exactly the way you were thinking, or maybe you would have asked for, even if it's something like you said, even if it's something that does bug you, and it's okay if it bugs you or bothers you, it doesn't mean that, the things that you might do that annoy me, it's not like you're doing things on purpose.
Right.
Or
purposely trying to.
Even if it's something that I asked you to do, I have to believe that you're not just not listening.
Right.
There's got to be something else. They were too busy. Tate needed something like that was more of a priority. Like there's so many things that can actually go into it that we will get bent out of shape about it without even asking, and then just walk around and not talk to each other.
I think this was really intense in the first few months of postpartum, especially before I was medicated and my rage was really intense. Like anytime you'd fall asleep, I would get so angry when he had more. I mean, there was no like. Of course he can take a nap. Like there's no problem with him taking a nap. There's no problem with him going to sleep. But like he would fall asleep at certain times and I would just get so mad and tell him how careless he was being. And he wasn't being careless. He was just taking a nap. And I just would get so mad. And so I always believed that you were just like, you didn't care about us and you're putting yourself first and all this stuff. When in reality, like you were up all night and you literally did everything you could to stay awake and you just like fell asleep. And half the time he was falling asleep on the floor in front of me and I would still just get mad. And that was just a lot of like the postpartum, like thick, I was really thick at the postpartum at that point. But if I would have just been like, okay, it's probably not like intentional and he's not trying to like make me have to be the one that takes care of Tate. And like once we actually talked about it over and over and over, I, got to a better place. And I think that saved a lot of our fights. Yeah,
I feel the same way. For me, one of the things that I feel like I'm always talking to you or asking you is like, hey, when you're doing stuff in the kitchen, just like try to go behind yourself. It'll make things easier.
Yeah.
And you do that a lot, but then sometimes I'll come home or Tate will go down and I'll come back downstairs and our kitchen is a disaster. And I think it's really easy and natural to be like, oh, why can't she just do the thing I've asked her? But
because there's a 14-month-old at my leg
there's literally
screaming at me.
A kid, because I've been in it, right? Like the days where I'm home, like that's a thing too, is like when you get the other end of someone else's thing is, well, no, I mean, he still comes up, like I'll be making him something or we'll finish feeding him lunch and he's just like on to the next thing and you don't have time to.
No, I don't have time
to dump it over there.
What I was going to say I can't talk about is when Thomas is home with Tate, he independent plays perfectly.
He's my angel.
He does nothing wrong. He walks around, plays, smiles at our dog, like is so sweet. At our dog. Like when he's with me, no matter, I'll do the same stuff as Thomas. I'll encourage the independent play. I'll do whatever I can. He is screaming at the top of his lungs, trampling over Theo, grabbing up my leg. I can't make his orange or peel his orange fast enough. Like it's just tantrum after tantrum after tantrum. I can't get work done, and that's just not the case with Thomas. Anyways, that's where we're at.
It's funny. I mean, I ask all the time. I'll come home
when you listen to this one day.
I'll come home and after a day that I know has been really difficult, and I'll just like lay down in the floor and play with him for a couple minutes. And then he'll just take off and do his own thing. And
I do that every day.
And
every day. Anyway, this is not even turned into a parenting thing.
We look at each other like, what is happening?
Yeah, I don't even know. It's your turn.
So yeah, I think that's a great one. Is always, which one did you just do?
Believe the best.
Well, you have to. I got So the next one that I'm gonna share
is your turn.
Is very similar. Like it kind of goes hand in hand, and it's just say sorry. I feel like it's almost like the other side of the same coin for the other one of like believing the best intentions for the other person. But also at the same time, like I've learned that if I've done something that is aggravating you, just to say sorry.
Yeah. I say sorry too much. And you have stopped. You have really, really been like, you don't have to say sorry for that. Like, stop apologizing. You really have like jumped in and been like, why are you apologizing? I'm like, because I don't know, I'm a people pleaser and I'm trying to be better. I don't know.
But it's been a tough thing for me because you've talked about it on here with me experiencing scrupulosity. I also feel like I need to apologize a lot. So I have like put a hard stop to that.
Yeah.
And I know
sometimes a little too hard.
I know. So now
like,
I've had
I need you to apologize to me for that.
Now I've had to remind myself, it's like, it's not, this thing it's weird. I have to like tell myself this thing that's going on, whatever it is, isn't that big of a deal, but I still need to say sorry.
Yeah.
Just apologize.
I'm just a girl. I need you to apologize.
Like, it's not, and it's not even, it has to be this like, oh, you were right, I'm so sorry. It's just like, hey, this didn't go the way we were hoping, and I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. There's power in that.
I feel like that has ended a lot of like quiet car rides faster.
Yes.
Just saying sorry
Yes.
so we can move on.
Yeah.
And that just shows that sometimes it's just a block, it's just a block. There's not anything else that needs to be said or
you
figured
married
out.
people, you know the feeling of when you're walking around your house just quiet, or you're sitting in the car quiet, or the girls, like, your legs will be one way, then something will happen, you'll move your knees to the other side. You're like, okay, I can't be close to you right now. And then it's like quiet and you're like tense and you're like, one of us needs to apologize. And it's just ended a lot faster.
And it's not going to be me.
Yeah, but it's ended a lot faster when we've gotten over our own selves and just apologized.
Yep, completely agree.
Yeah. Okay, my turn. The third one is keep things fun. I think that something that is, I think, really special and really sacred in our marriage is how much fun we have. Like, I think there's so much marriage advice out there to be like, just marry. Why are you laughing? Just marry your best friend.
Keep going.
Okay. No, I can't. Why are you laughing?
So when you first said keep things fun, so I bug Hannah all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Yeah. Like on the verge of like practical joke bug her. So it's not just like slight annoyances or like I'll do pranks.
He
like
spends
small
time
pranks.
thinking about like how he's going to prank me and like what he's gonna do to me to bug me.
And my most recent, what I would consider incredible prank was we're putting lotion on Tate before bed.
God.
And I take some of the lotion and I pretend to smell it. And I think I might have actually smelled it because I was curious. But then I was immediately like, oh, this is going to be great. And I go, hey, babe, have you ever smelled this? And I have the lotion on my finger. And as soon as she moves her nose towards it, I just in her nose.
Stuck it up my nose.
With the lotion. And your response was my favorite. She made a face and then she goes, how will I ever get this lotion out of my nose?
I still have it in my nose. How do we know it's not there? How do we know the lotion's not still there?
I don't know.
I think it's still there.
I don't know.
How will I ever? I literally was like so mad because I don't even know why I was so mad, but I was so mad. I was like, how will I ever get this out? And I got up and like stormed out. Yeah, I did. Yep. That was not good on my part.
While you were out of the room, I'm pretty sure I told you this, that while she was out of the room, to even it out, because I felt bad, put it in my nose.
He did.
So when she came back, she could see that.
I was like...
But then I blew it out on the spot, so I don't really know what the problem was.
Anyways, keeping things fun. What I was saying was, I hear so much like marriage advice, like marry your best friend, blah blah blah, and I don't like saying that because everyone is saying that, but I genuinely see the benefits of marrying your best friend and why it's important because we really are at the end of the day best friends. Like, I want to spend every moment with you. Like, the days that you have to go into the office are the worst because we're not together. And we've been doing this for 5 years. We've always worked in the same space. And there's been times here and there that we haven't worked in the same space, but like, I've wanted to be with you all day long. And I know that a lot of couples aren't like that. And a lot of couples don't have that privilege to be together all the time, and I'm so thankful and blessed, and like that is our situation, and I love it. Like 5 years later, I'm not tired of it. Like, I'm still just like, when are you coming home? I'm ready for you to be here. Like, and it's not because it's like you provide help with Tate. It's because I want to hang out. Like, I like us being together. Like, my favorite days are when we're together. And it's the best.
I would do every single thing.
Yeah, this was funny. I was talking about this podcast tour that I wanted me and Caroline to go on together, like whenever they come back. And I was like, oh, whenever they go on tour again, like me and Caroline can take a trip and we can go. And
I was immediately offended.
And he was immediately offended. He was like, I can't go. And I was like, no, you're not a Valley girl. Like, why would you go? And he was like, because I want to go. Like,
I'm as close as you can be.
He's like, I take you to mine. I want to go to your thing. Like, and so it's just funny. Like, we want to do everything together. We really are best friends, and we have so much fun in our house. Like, oh yeah. As much as I like roll my eyes at the pranks, and as much as I say, how am I ever going to get this out of my nose? I realized I was being super like dramatic later, and it's fine. But like, as much as he does all that to me, like, I love it. And if he stopped annoying me, I would be really upset. And
you heard it here. We recorded her saying that. Yeah. Clip it.
Clip it. Yeah. No, it really is like, it's the best.
It's funny saying clip it. Like, there's another person that's going to do it that's not me.
But it's you. Yeah. No, but we really do. We have so much fun. Like, we turn music on. We also don't turn music on at home. We just dance. Like, Thomas's dance moves that he does in our house. And I can tell him about your dance moves. And Tate, now we're teaching him to dance.
Should I do it right now? Should this be a plug to go watch on YouTube?
Yes. Do
We're
your
not
dance.
going to post this on Instagram as a reel.
No, I won't.
If you're listening to it, you need to go to YouTube.
But then people go to YouTube
to watch it.
and they'll be like, oh my gosh. Okay, get up, do it.
Yep, here we go. Hold the mic.
Okay, I'm holding the mic. Okay, for those listening right now, Thomas is showing us
can't see
his
my
debut
face.
dance
Okay, here we
moves. Woo! There you go. Ooh, look at that hip go. Woo!
Okay,
That's so good.
all I'm doing.
Oh my gosh.
all
Wow.
I'm doing.
I can't believe that like they got to see your dance moves.
All right, go watch on YouTube. Go subscribe so we can also put ads on YouTube.
That would be great. But that was some good dance moves.
Signature dance move. I'm coming out a
Anyways,
little bit.
we have so much fun, clearly. It's such a blast. Like our home is such a blast. We have so much fun together. And
It's also been fun because you have encouraged me to break out of my shell a little
thanks.
bit. Like
I try.
I am an introvert. I will have fun like with my friends, but even when our friends are over, like I'm still not exactly the same way. But I feel like I'm a lot more outgoing, a lot more willing to do things. I would like 3 years ago, I would have never just did my dance move on the camera.
Oh my gosh, no, you would not have.
So,
but
yeah,
I think it's so
been
important
great.
to keep things fun, and I can tell when we're in a rut when things are like not fun. It's just like too much seriousness in our home. Like we just aren't feeling like if we're like fighting a lot and like we're not having fun. Like we have to get back to fun.
Right.
We have to go do fun dates. Like we have to go bowling or go play mini golf or do something. Like we need. One day I'll be able to play mini golf again. I feel like I couldn't do that with my leg.
Oh, you can do it.
Okay. But like literally for our date today, we were talking about like, should we go do something fun or should we go eat dinner? But it was really hard to choose, but I want a good dinner. But we were just like, what are we going to do? Because like, we just love to have fun together. And I think keeping things fun is so important. Life is so serious and there's so much stress going on right now in our world. And so just like taking those moments to have fun is so important.
I completely agree.
Keeps a positive
And this is
mindset.
actually a pretty good segue into my next one, which is find ways to recharge.
Yeah.
So similar to that, like one of the things that we like to do is go have fun. So that's been something that we've had to learn is like our marriage has not been busy. Our life since we've been married has been ridiculously busy.
Yeah.
I mean, if you list out the things and the seasons, like there hasn't been a lot of seasons of consistency.
No.
So any type of like rest that we've gotten, we've had to make that space.
Yeah.
Whether it's like just having a chill weekend where we don't go do anything or taking a trip to go visit family, which in and of itself is not necessarily rest, but it's at least breaking up what we normally do, leaving our house or the area.
Yeah.
I think that's important on a lot of different levels, like trying to find some time every day to relax. Whether like, I think at some point every day we both at least get a little bit of alone time.
Yeah.
We get a little bit of time just to ourselves after little Tater goes to bed, or if we happen to wake up before he does.
That has yet to happen.
And then, you know, in the week, trying to like have some time on the weekend where we go do something fun together as a family. Like that's huge. You can't just go all the time.
No, you have to rest.
And we can feel it when we're not able to do that. So that's something that I think is huge because you can, you know, when there's not rest, you start to get a little chirpier and things like that. So,
yes.
And it's, you know, you're not you when you're hungry.
You're not you when you're hungry.
Go
and
get
with
some
that
food.
too, I think
Get a fun drink. I've been on this like fun drink.
Thomas has turned into
trend.
a drink girly, you guys.
I am loving it.
Yeah. Something with like rest, I don't think neither one of us had anything about physical intimacy on this list, but I do think it's extremely important to be physically intimate. And that's part of what I think like having fun and Sabbath is just reminding yourselves to be physically intimate. Like we were bickering a lot this week and Thomas was just like, listen. And I was also like, listen, you're right. Like this is our problem.
That is kind of funny.
This is our problem.
We didn't have anything.
I know, have a sex podcast and we didn't talk about it. That's crazy.
You know, it's probably because of how much time we spend talking about that and making sure that's where it needs to be in our relationship. That box, we've usually had a good pulse on that one.
Yeah.
The rest of the stuff is like the stuff we've had to work on.
Right.
Yeah.
But it really isn't like the physical intimate. I mean, I really feel like when we are consistently physically intimate, we are just much happier together. Like we really are. Like in our relationship. Okay.
Is it your turn?
Yes.
That was like a mini one you just
That really
did.
was.
Like,
okay, we got to get these going. Number 4, share your spouse's interests. I have found that this has been so fun, just like the last like 2 years of our marriage, because as you guys know, I have turned into a Formula One girly. I've turned into a sports girly, and it has been really fun. Like I feel like each of us have our own interests, and as Thomas has started getting involved in mine, I've started getting involved in his. It's just like more things for us to talk about. It's more like things for us like send things on social media back and forth to each other. Like it's been just more like laughs and things that we can share. And it's just like really fun to like be into what the other person is into. I'm not saying you have to like completely mesh everything and it's okay to have your own interests, your own things.
Right.
But like that is important to still be your own self. But like this has been a new thing for us, like getting involved in sports together, and it's been really fun. Like we've had so much fun getting involved in Formula One. We're involved. Our friends are involved now. We've got a fantasy league. Like it's just so fun, like getting involved. And you get really involved with my podcasts. Like you really like to listen to the toast with me. Like you keep up with what the girls are doing. Like you're asking me questions. Like you're equally invested as I am with that stuff. And so it's really fun to talk about.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, and I think that last thing you just said is that it's fun to talk about. Like, when you're married, you spend so much time with each other. And if you don't have anything to talk about that, like, crosses or connections, I mean, can be, I'm assuming, boring.
Right, right.
So it's just fun to be able to come home and, like, the toast just ended or something like that. And it's like, tell me, what are the girlies doing these days?
Yeah.
What's going on? So I love it. I love getting to sit there and listen. But I'm also, I do the dad thing or the husband thing where like the show is on and I'm
Standing.
like I haven't watched a single episode of The Bachelor this season.
No, but I have.
If it's on, I'll be in the kitchen and then all of a sudden you just see me sliding over.
Yep. You're like,
what
what's
is this
happening?
tea that's happening over here on the TV?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really fun to have the same interests. I mean, it's the same thing of like, I would not take you. I didn't want that to come across the wrong way, but I would literally do all of the things that I like to do. I wish you would do them with me. That's what I would love for every single thing to be, is for us to do them together.
Yeah.
So
it's really fun.
Cool. So this is my last one then,
Yep.
and then it'll be your last one. So the last one that I have that I think is just great marriage advice, something that I have learned over the past 5 years, and I actually gave this advice to somebody that's about to get married at church, was like, I'm going to have to come by and ask you guys some questions sometime or, get some advice. And I was like, this is the only thing you need to know. If you
Interesting. That's a big statement.
It's the only.
I saw this on our list and I was like, what does he mean by this? So we've not even spoken about this. I'm learning this with you guys.
At
wow.
least if it's not the only thing you need to know, it's the thing that you need to remember.
Okay.
And that is that you will be married forever.
Okay.
Like the intentions, the goal is for the rest of our life.
Yeah.
You and I are going to be married.
Right.
So that just kind of changes the scope of what you're dealing with. Like, we're going to be married forever. If we can't agree on like how we want to do something with our house or run our family or do our finances or some of these preferences things, like there's no reason to get bent out of shape about it now, because we don't have to figure all these things out today.
Yeah. Right.
We're going to be married for 60 years.
Yeah.
We have 60 years to become as perfect as we can at being a husband and wife to each other.
Right.
So
we don't need to wait till like you're 50 to get good at it,
No,
but,
you don't have to wait. That doesn't
but the commitment is there, and we have said to each other, we are getting married. Like, this is not an option between us. Now, I'm going to hop in real quick, be very clear that if you are in an unsafe situation with your spouse, we are not speaking to you.
For sure.
Make that very, very clear.
And it's also not an excuse to just pass the buck and not do anything.
Right.
But it helps you when you're trying to, like, it lowers frustration levels, because you have plenty of time to figure out how to be married. You have plenty of time to figure out how to get to know your partner. So you don't have to try to get everything sorted out in a day or have these super high expectations, because you may not meet those expectations. And
it has gotten just better and better and better and better every year.
Yep.
We've learned more and more and more, and everything's gotten better over the years. That's good. That's good. Okay. My last one is remember that you are a team and that you're fighting against the problem and not each other. I heard this one time and I was just like, okay, that's it. That makes so much sense. Like when we have like a fight or a disagreement, I really try to go into it with that mindset of like, we are fighting against this issue. Like I'm not fighting Thomas. We're fighting this thing that like happened and we need to come together to figure out a solution because we are a team. Like we chose to be partners. We chose to be teammates. We chose to be husband and wife. Like we view everything as we are a team and we are going to tackle whatever we have to tackle together. And that together mindset, I think, has really helped us out so much. And I think it's just like the perfect like picture of marriage is together. Really, 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 oh my gosh, how many times did I say really? Shows like to become one. Like we really do become one. And when you get married, and we've just decided that. And so really fighting against the problem has helped from like having, anger towards you about things. It has helped with like discontentment about things. Like we're fighting against the issue that we can figure out and not each other.
Yeah, I mean, blaming the other person, no matter what the situation is, like if you fully are just blaming the other person, then you're not trying to actually solve, like that's not helping you solve whatever the problem is.
Yeah.
It's not going to go away just because you are trying to figure out exactly who caused the problem or, what somebody else could have done better in the past.
Right.
Like that's not helping you solve anything in the moment. So
totally
just focusing on, hey, together, we're going to figure out how we're going to get through this.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's a good word. Okay, those are our 5 things. I think those are really good 5 things. 10 things together.
10 things.
That's 5 plus 5 equals 10.
Math.
And we have a couple questions from our friends. I was thinking, like, I really wish I had a name for the Say What listeners. I mean, I call everybody friends, but I need to, like, figure out a name, I feel like friends is fine because, like, the friends, like we're friends.
I agree. You may have to ask them.
But friends,
people smarter than us.
Yeah. Like, what do you guys want to be called? Anyways, okay, we got some questions, and we're gonna just a couple. So, what are your pet names for each other? We have so many.
That's funny.
What's the first one that came to your mind?
I mean, I think the first one that came to my mind, the one that I used the most, is Baby Girl.
That is so not what came to my mind, but you do call me Baby Girl sometimes.
I would say consistently over time, that's what I've called you the most. However, I like to make up names on the time. Spot.
Yeah.
So I think one of my favorite ones that I just remembered that I'm going to get Tate to say is,
oh my gosh,
I thought it would be funny to call you Hand Bam. I really don't know why, but I think that would be funny.
Well, I think
I used to call you Tonka.
Oh, these aren't even like pet names. Like, they're not even sweet. We're like babe people. Like we each say, which babe. Some people like hate that, and I see people say like how annoying that is. But like we're not like honey, darling, sweetie. Like no, we're just babe. Also, our pet names have just evolved over time. Like at some point, we started calling each other Basie.
Basie.
I don't remember where Basie came from, but we call each other Basie.
Base station.
And so it started out something with Babe turned into Basie, turned into Base Day, turned into Bayside.
Oh, Base Day.
Turned into Base Station.
What was that one?
Bayside? Bayside? I've called you Bayside before.
Oh, okay.
But like it's just like turns into something that's like a whole other language. I feel like we say Basie a lot.
Yeah. When you just hear a sound that sounds like it could be a name, you answer.
Yeah, that's really it. Like, no, it's really Babe, Basie. You say Baby Girl. I don't even know. What else?
I mean, I think
Base Day. You call me weird names. We say Base Day a lot.
Yeah, I'll make up stuff though.
Yeah. Okay, next question. What was a fight you had that you now laugh at how ridiculous it was to be fighting over? So Thomas and I are very competitive. We are extremely competitive, and there was a lot of years that we were playing Catan. Some people call it Catan. I don't exactly know. I say Catan.
No idea.
And we would get in like yelling fights, and that is so stupid that we would fight over a game. Now we're still very competitive, and we can get mad at each other. That's fine, but like we took it way too far. Like I'm really embarrassed about like the fights that we would get in, like with other people while we were playing. Like it's something that like keeps me up at night. Truly.
Yeah, I've had to dial back the competitiveness a little bit just to not make a fool of myself.
Yeah, truly. And I'm sure there's other things, but like that's the biggest thing I can think of.
Yeah, it's a fun question though.
It is a fun question.
I wish we had a better answer.
I know. Does the honeymoon phase have an end date?
No, I don't know.
I don't think so.
I mean,
I think we're still like, I think we're more in love than we have ever been. And we're still as obsessed with each other as we were. I will say that like during the first like year of our marriage, I felt like I was kind of walking on eggshells as far as like trying to be the perfect wife and like wanting you to view me a certain way. And so like while we were so in love and so happy and, you know, I was just so like nervous during the honeymoon stage, but like now I don't feel that way at all. So I don't know that necessarily ended, but
yeah, I think it's like,
I don't think so.
Yeah, if you don't put into practice some like smart things or like have good communication, then sure, maybe it does end. But we've worked really hard to maintain these type of things that keep us close, keep us having fun, keep us laughing, keep us wanting to be around each other.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're doing that, it's gonna go great.
That's good. Okay. And I wanted to end on actually asking a couple questions from one of the games that we have. It's We're Not Really Strangers. So you bought this game like forever ago.
Oh, I bought it.
I think you did. I really want to say you bought it.
I'm such a great husband.
You are such a great husband.
Yep.
So I went through and picked out a couple questions, but I'm going to mix them up and let Thomas actually pick which question we're going to ask. But
how many are we doing?
I don't know. Let's do a couple.
Okay.
I think it'd be fun to end on.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you know them.
Yeah, but I don't exactly remember, but I had to pick a couple because this game is complicated and I couldn't just pick for fun. I had to be strategic a little bit.
Level 2.
Okay.
Connection.
Okay.
When was the last time you surprised yourself?
Ooh. Are we going to both answer these?
Sure.
Okay. When was the last
I think it's funny. It's like, oh, well, I turned into this Dunkin'. Oops.
Ooh, yeah. Oops, got another coffee. Surprise. When was the last time I surprised myself? Honestly, I would say being able to relaunch this podcast when I did. Like, I thought that I had it in me to relaunch it, but once my leg broke, I remember telling my therapist, I was like, there's no way I'm bringing this podcast back. I just can't do it. My leg is broken. My child's not sleeping. Like, now my child's sleeping, but my leg is broken. Like, I can't get off the couch. I'm not talking to anybody. I don't have anything to say. Like, I just remember thinking, like, I want this to happen. I want it to come back so bad. I feel it in my soul it's supposed to come back. But, like, I don't think it's going to. And so the fact that it actually did come back and I'm doing it again was very surprising to me. And I'm really proud of myself for it.
I'm very proud of you.
Thanks. Okay, what about you?
I think for me, the thing that comes to mind is like where I'm at now from a mental health standpoint, or from where I would have been this time last year or this time 8 months ago, or something, right? Because I mean, with scrupulosity, it's something that you.
Will you say what that is?
So scrupulosity is a form of OCD that involves like moral issues. So it's not like everything has to be in a certain order, or like, oh, did I turn the stove off, or things like that. It's more of like, did this thing I did, like, do I need to confess this to somebody? And a lot of times it can be with religion or involved with a person that you feel like you need to confess everything to. And I just thought I was never going to get out of this cycle of like, even the smallest things that were not.
That happened when you were 15.
Yeah. Or like just, one of the common things would have been like, did the speedometer get to 0 when I was supposed to stop at this stop sign, or did it get to 1? Like, did I really stop? And so it's like these things would bounce all over just in my head all the time. And I didn't really know, like, even when we started doing some of the stuff and I started going to therapy and taking medication and managing it, it was still difficult.
Yeah.
And it's like, is this ever going to go away?
Right.
And, just as time has gone on, being able to, it was very gradual.
Yeah.
It was not like big steps were ever taken. It was like
just little steps.
It got
here and
1% better every day.
Yeah. That's
and now that we're this many days like into this, and I'm able to look back and see the massive amount of ground that has been taken.
Yeah, you're not even on medicine anymore.
No, I'm not. It's insane too. Yeah. So that's surprising.
The Lord has done a lot of work
surprising.
in that. Yeah.
And I'm proud of that.
Yeah, I'm very proud of you for how far you've come. Okay, I'm gonna pick. You have to. I can't look. All right. How do our personalities complement each other?
Our personalities?
Yes. I'm really funny and you laugh at me. But you laugh at my jokes.
I'm really handsome and you compliment me.
Yeah.
How do our personalities? Well, so I guess one of the things would be like, there are some things that are good because they're opposites, right? Like extrovert, introvert.
Yeah,
so
I think that is a good answer.
Like you'll pull me out of my comfort zone sometimes, which is incredibly awesome. And so how I recharge though is like being by myself or just recharging with you. And sometimes I'll push that. Like I'm like, and you want to go do something or you're trying to be by yourself. I'll kind of grab that middle ground of like, no, you're going to hang out with me right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you say on the podcast and stuff, like you're never upset by hanging out. So
no.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
Oh, here we go. What about me most surprised you?
Ooh. What about you most surprised me? I would say, man, what about you most surprised me? I don't think I expected you to be as like silly as you would be. Like you really are like introverted. You're very smart. You're very wise. You're not like very serious, but like you're very hardworking. And you care about what people think.
The vibe that I put out into the world for people that aren't in the inner circle is serious.
It's serious. Yeah. And so the fact that you'll like stand up and do your dance moves and you'll like dance with me or you're like we'll like make fun at each other and you'll just like, dance and you'll like, or get dressed up and like go to the Era store with me. But like, it's not even like he's going with me. Like we're going together. Like you're going to dress up. I'm going to dress up. Like you're in full costume. Like you love being silly. That would have been
a good thing to bring up with like getting involved in each other's interests.
Yeah.
Like I went.
Yeah.
I was there. I wasn't just like a bro hanging. I was there.
All right.
Do I get to answer that or do you want to move to the next question?
Oh yeah, you answer that. Sorry.
I think one of the things that surprised me, because I didn't know it, is like, I knew that you, like the products, the things you worked on, like when you were on staff still on staff working at a church, like I knew everything was at a high level, but I didn't realize like how hard of a worker you actually are. And then the more time we've spent together and I can see like the intentionality, how much you actually think about things. Like most people won't care about that or don't do it.
Wow. Thank you.
And that's was a surprising thing to learn and a nice thing to learn.
Cool. All right, one more.
Level 1. We may do one more, or this is funny to end on. On a scale of 1 to 10, how messy do you think my car is? So we're going to change this from think to, on a scale of 1 to 10, how messy is my car? 1 being cleanest, 10 being a complete disaster.
8. 8.
Yeah.
8.
Yep. Okay.
What about mine?
I would say your car right now is probably like a 5, probably somewhere in the middle, which is funny that your car would be cleaner because your car is the kid car.
The kid car.
With the snack crumbs.
Yeah, I asked Thomas to bring my Stanley Cup in, and he was like, things that are in my car live there for 3 to 6 months. I don't know why you would think I would bring it in before then.
And it's a great reason. My car is the black sheep. It's lower on the totem pole.
Yeah.
So when there's energy put into keeping a car clean, it's all on your car.
Yeah.
And then my car, I get to it when I get to it.
That's true.
If something is in there, it might take you 5 to 7 weeks to discover.
Yep.
Okay, that was fun. We're going to end on that. Thank you so much for...
It's date time.
It's date time. Thank you so much for joining me on the Say What podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Friends, keep the conversation going on Instagram. And if you could just take a couple of seconds and leave me a review, that would be super helpful. That just helps other people find the podcast. And remember, you can also be watching on YouTube, but you have to see Thomas's dance moves. So go check out that YouTube. But I love you guys, and we will talk soon.